Hello, I'm Dr. Michelle Murray, and I'm the President CEO of Nexus Family Healing. Nexus Family Healing is actually located in 4 states. We are born and raised here in the wonderful state of Minnesota. We have services in the state of Illinois, in Maryland, and now in North Dakota. And we do some pivotal work. We provide residential treatment services for children and youth. We also provide adoption and foster care, outpatient therapy services, and some in-home work and other community-related services like crisis. And we serve children, youth, and adults. Nexus's success is really based, I think, on a combination of many factors. One is vision, that the leaders throughout the history have had really great vision for the organization, and I mean all of our leaders, not just the CEO. We have an incredible group of staff that are extremely mission-driven. They are truly here to change people's lives. They know the impact that it has when even just one person can be in a better place and what that ripple effect is on families and communities, and it keeps our staff here and alive. And you just cannot do this work without that kind of dedication from our board of directors, through leadership, the agencies that we work with, and I want to say our external partners. You know, we are really shifting this organization to work more in partnership with other community providers, and it's key to success.
Hi, I'm Jolene Evenson, and I'm the Senior Director of the Nexus Foundation for Family Healing. My personal why for working at Nexus is the fact that there are kids and there are families that are hurting in our community. We might not always know how to stop that hurt, but we can play a role in their healing and in their recovery. I want to be part of that solution in whatever way I can, and to provide people in our community that same opportunity, and together we'll make a huge difference in their lives. COVID taught us so much, and the biggest thing was that we can come together in partnership with the community, with our foster parents, and make life better for the children in our care.
Hi, I'm Paul Zimmer. I'm a current board member of Nexus Family Healing, and I'm the current board chair of Nexus Foundation for Family Healing. If I had a magic wand and I could ask for one thing from our supporters in our community, I think the easy thing would be financial resources or money. Every nonprofit says no money, no mission, and it's true with Nexus as well. But I think more important, and what we're trying to build on, is develop a network of supporters and corporate partners that we can rely on, because we know we can establish outcomes and we know we can make a case for support. And if we have that network that we can turn to for the support, then I know we can fund the initiatives that we need.
For the next 50 years at Nexus Family Healing, what I think is going to be critical is that we continue to work in partnership with other people in our communities to deliver the care that's needed. Because right now, what we're seeing in outcomes and success is that people need their whole person helped and wrapped and loved and cared for. You can't just treat one aspect of somebody's mental health. You need to look at their physical health. You need to look at their communities, their families. What are all of the things that a child, an adult, a family needs to really heal and be successful in life? So it's going to be critical that we look at the partnerships that we're going to need to have to help people heal.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a night for Nexus Restoring Hope. And for those of you who are joining us from home, we have an audience at home. Thank you very much. And you don't realize this, but we can see you up on the big screen. And yes, pajamas are fine for formal wear tonight, so that works out good. I would like to, and for those in the room here, continue eating, and we will have the program as we go on. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Bremer Bank, for producing that video that we just saw. It was fantastic. Well, tonight we're all here for the same reason. We want to make an impact on our community and somebody's life, and we can do it together by supporting Nexus Family Healing. I became involved in Nexus, 5-6 years ago. They had me keynote deliver a keynote speech to their annual conference. And I was talking about impact, and I told a story about speaking to a group of Wendy's franchisees owners and general managers. And afterwards, a woman came up to me and she said, "Can I tell you a story that happened in my restaurant?" And I said, "Sure." She said, "Every day an elderly gentleman would drive through the drive-through window for breakfast. And every day he was waited on by the same woman. This was a woman who dropped her kids off at school early, trying to earn the family a few extra dollars by working the Wendy's drive-through window. And the GM said, "I wish I had 100 of her. She was fantastic. Every order that went out that window was perfect. When she said, 'Hello, how you doing? Have a great day,' she meant every single word of it." Well, one day the old man, who had been coming for breakfast for a couple of months, parked the car and walked into the restaurant. And he asked the lady, the GM, if he could see the woman behind the counter. And the GM said, "Sure." So the woman came out and the old man said, "May I give you a hug?" And she said, "Sure." And he gave her a big old burly bear hug, and he held on a little longer and a little tighter than maybe he's comfortable. But he said, "I came here today to thank you. I'm not going to be seeing you as much anymore. You see, every morning when I came in here for breakfast, I was on the way to the hospital to see my wife. She went to the good Lord last night. But every day when I came in here, you reminded me of her, because nobody ever left my wife a conversation with her without feeling better about themselves." See, you never know when the person sitting next to you is going through something heavy. You never know when that family in your community needs help and needs Nexus as a safety net. That's why we're here today. There are mental health issues all over in every single phase of life, in school, in our kids, all the way up to our aging adults. So that's what Nexus is here today for. We're all here to make an impact and help Nexus Family Healing take that opportunity to support the efforts here so we can be part of the solution. Well, as you heard in the video, Nexus is a nonprofit organization that has been around 50 years. 50 years. Let's hear it for that. The services span Minnesota, North Dakota, Illinois, and Maryland, helping more than 3,600 children, families, and adults each year. Sometimes people find the services themselves. Sometimes they're referred to by school people, school officials, city and county social workers, hospitals, law enforcement, and all to offer help, all to find somebody who could use their service. Each child and adult is unique on their journey to Nexus, and they offer individualized programs and resources to help each kid, even some of the most challenging of opportunities. At Nexus, we believe nobody is ever beyond hope. That's why they never give up. Where some see problems, we see potential. What some call impossible, we call our mission. That's Nexus for 50 years. As we get ready to launch into the program today, I want to take some time to thank the generous sponsors, and you'll see their names up on the screen. They include our lead sponsors: AmTrust North America, Assured Partners, Bremer Bank, and Hormel. They're all here as generous partners. Thank you so much. And we cannot thank all the other sponsors, the gold and silver sponsors, enough too. So thank you all for helping here tonight. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Booker Hodges. He's the chief of police in the city of Bloomington. And I started thinking about this. I live in Bloomington, so Chief, you work for me. So I'm telling you, you better be good tonight. He is also a member of the Nexus Family Healing Board of Directors. Chief, it's all yours.
Good evening. Thank everybody for coming today. And like Joe said, I am the Chief of Police for the city of Bloomington. Before I get started, thanks. Before I get started, I just have to introduce my table. That's why people don't normally give me a microphone. But so with me, I got Minnesota Department of Public Safety Commissioner John Harrington. The person that allows me to do this, my wife, Lorinda, my two boys, Booker and Soren. my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Candace and Antoine Denson. My Deputy Chief Jeff Giles, he's Deputy Chief for the City of Bloomington. And Carla Hendrickson, she's our Community Development Director, and she keeps me in check all the time, but she's very good at what she does in the City of Bloomington. And we got Faith Jackson, who does very important work for the city of Bloomington. She's our Diversity and Inclusion Director. So thank you all for coming today. So, and I introduced them, so one of the reasons why I'm a part of Nexus is when you look at the mission of restoring hope and restoring futures, and we start to think about the types of people that need the services that Nexus has to offer. So it was a no-brainer for me to start to become a part of this, and I want to call out another person, Dr. Anita Larson, who is a lot smarter than me, but she works for Nexus. She's one of our directors here, so let's give her a round of applause. Her and I went to Hamlin University together, and like I said, she's a lot smarter than me. So I support Nexus because when you think about the work that Nexus does, it's very tough work. How many people want to deal in the space where we're dealing with people who need outpatient brain health services? And I say brain health because when we think about the mental aspect of it, the brain is a physical organ, and it's often something that we don't think about when we talk about brain health. We often think about it in this mental health context is this thing out there that we don't necessarily get an opportunity to see, but I really think it's the brain health issue, and that's kind of the term that I use. But Nexus, in terms of doing the work that a lot of people don't want to do with outpatient care, residential treatment, and foster care, when you think about that, if I ask anybody in here, what type of job would you want to do, how many people would want to work in that space? Right. And not too many people. And that's the work they do is really a godsend. And I mean, for me, that's why I will continue to support this organization. And that's why I hope everybody here that if this is your first time, please tell somebody about Nexus. Please tell somebody about Nexus and what they do. Because I just feel a lot of people need to know what we do here at Nexus. The need here is obvious in terms of why we need organizations like Nexus. Being a police officer, we come in contact with a lot of people who have brain health issues, and quite frankly, there's systematic gaps in there where we don't have the services to provide people with, and that's where Nexus fills that gap. Law enforcement as a profession, as nice as we all seem and the smiles that we all give, we bring the tail of the criminal justice system with us wherever we go. Wherever I go, wherever one of my officers goes into an area, they bring the tail of the criminal justice system with them. And it's my personal belief that as a society, we really need to start examining areas where we bring that criminal justice system into. And I think Nexus provides us an opportunity to where we don't have to bring police officers into situations that don't require the tail of the criminal justice system. And that's why I really believe in this organization, and I just want to thank every single person for being here today, and what you're doing is really important. And there are a lot of people out there that you might not see that depend on this organization for their well-being. Right? All of us here, by and large, are pretty much able to provide for ourselves. We're pretty much able to function, but there are a lot of people who need help with that. And that's where Nexus comes in at, those families, those people who want to continue to be in our communities and be on their own, but they just need the help. Kids that need adoption and making sure that they're getting placed in welcoming homes that are going to provide them with care and love. That's where Nexus comes in at. So with that, I'm grateful to serve on this board, and I will bring up our CEO, who we all know, she needs no introduction, Dr. Michelle Murray. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chief Hodges, and thank you to his family for letting him serve on our board. Really appreciate the value that you bring to the board as well as the organization. And I actually want to congratulate you. I was watching the news last night and was pretty impressed with what your team did in Bloomington by bringing the seizure of the fentanyl, the biggest fentanyl. And we really have you and your team and other police force out there that's making a difference in safety in our communities. So thank you for that. And I'm just so thrilled to thank everybody for being here. It was so wonderful to be in this space and meet many of you and just spend some time. And I just really, from the bottom of my heart, I just really appreciate you taking the time to come and learn about us and think about us and the work that we do, and just dedicate this time of your life to see what we're all about and the work that you can help us do together. And I also want to really take a minute, because it is our 50 years, and that's not really why we're here tonight, but we might as well take advantage of that. And I would like to ask all of our current and our past leaders and staff and board members and Mark Manderfeld to please stand and just be recognized. Come on, stand, let's not be shy. Board members. "50 years. We've hit 50 years because of all of you in this room and all the other staff and the leaders that are not in this room, some that are joining us virtually. Again, you heard it in the video, it's about vision, but more importantly, it's about the passion to do the work that's before us. And we have been successful because we have people in our midst and in our organization that truly care about changing people's lives. And that's why we're here for 50 years. So thank you, and if you could all just lift a glass and toast 50 years to Nexus, thank you very much. So I am here to talk about mental health, breakdown of relationships, trauma. And I can come up here and talk to you about all the things that we keep reading about in the news, the filled psychiatric beds and how people can't get in because they're so backlogged that people don't know where else to turn. We can talk about schools and what's happening in the schools and how kids are feeling more and more suicidal, anxiety's up, depression's up. Teachers are having a hard time knowing how to help students. They're there to teach, but there's so much more going on in those classrooms than what they can manage. And we can talk about the impact that that has on our communities, right? You know, law enforcement has to get involved in things that's not really what they're there for, but who else is going to be there? We can't get people access to the mental health services they need. But what I want to talk about with that, because you mostly know about all that, you're reading it. We just had another article in the Star Tribune this week about adult psychiatric beds are filled, and there's not enough to get people services. You read about it, you know about it. But what we really need to talk about is how trauma and mental health and the breakdown of relationships is affecting all of our lives. It crosses all factors. It impacts every age, every gender, every religion, every race, every class. It impacts any political persuasion. Mental health, trauma, and breakdown of relationships can be all around us. And it impacts all of us in some way or another. And, you know, even with the work that I do, when we talk about these problems, this is not problems about the other. It's problems with us in our communities. When we talk about these, it's not those people, It's the people that we know. It's the people that we love. It's the people that are in our communities that are hurting. And this is not an issue that I just deal with when I come to work every day. We're well past that. When I started my career, it felt like it was just what I do at work. But we are so far past that. This is crossing over into my personal life, family life, and in my community. It impacts my family when my 16-year-old son has to ask me for advice, how to handle his two friends that are suicidal and talk about wanting to die. And what should he do about that? Two friends who have already been in the psych hospital 2 and 3 times. It impacts my family when my child asks me to talk to one of his friends because the child's having a hard time with their parent regarding emotional and mental abuse. It impacts my family when my child is asked to hold a secret for his friend about the domestic violence that's occurring in this child's home, and he's been told not to talk about it because it will break the family up. And now my child holds that secret. What do you do with that? 16 years old. And I'll be hearing about it from my 13-year-old in no time, I'm sure. This is impacting my community when a neighborhood girl who has no idea what I do for a living comes and says, "Will you please be a support person on my treatment plan so that I have somebody that I can turn to immediately when I feel like hurting myself?" That's in my neighborhood. That's somebody that I know, that I love, that I care about, that we're watching out together for. And she comes to me a couple weekends ago, and she shows me the rubber band on her wrist that she's using to snap every time she feels like she needs to be brought back into the present time. But this is not just my family, my community, and my life that's impacted by these things. It's all of us. It's in your communities, it's in your families. It may be you, it may be someone that you really, truly, dearly love. I just had a friend tell me, when we talk more about community, again, the emergency rooms. They went into the emergency room to get help for their child about a particular issue, and there were 4 kids that were taking emergency room beds for their mental health issues because the psychiatric hospitals are full, right here in the Twin Cities. Are we listening? Are we observing this? Are we aware? Are we seeking to understand? Are we respecting the gravity of the situation in our communities? And are we able to do something to make an impact? Well, again, Nexus Family Healing is not about helping those people. Nexus Family Healing is about helping all of us, our family members, our loved ones, our communities. We're in the business to provide opportunities for children and families and adults to find hope, to find healing, to find another path, something different that will change their life. We are about building resiliency because we know that that's a critical factor to helping people grow and heal. And sometimes people need help to find that resiliency when they have no other place to turn. You know, when we talk about the mission, Nexus does this work not just because of our mission, right? We can have a wonderful mission and we can all rally around that mission. We do this work because we just absolutely have to. We need providers like us and our other community partners that are doing this work to continue to do this work. We are responsible for doing this work. We must do this work. And we are an organization that's comprised of our vendors, our stakeholders, our board of directors, our staff, all of you here that are listening to make a difference in our communities and in our families so that we can ensure that the generations today will be healthy for the future generations to come. We simply must do our part. And one of our strengths and the things that we love to do is to persevere, to change and to adapt this organization to meet the more serious needs of our community. And we're always committed to finding a way for us to do that differently in the way that our community needs, so that we can fill the gaps that still exist. And we've done this really specifically in the last 18 months. And the thing about Nexus is when we do our work, we don't have to be the center stage. We don't have to be, it doesn't have to be all about us. We just simply need to do the work. And it doesn't have to be our program like we're doing right now with our the CERC program, the Southeast Regional Crisis Center. We're doing that in partnership with the Olmsted County area and with Blue Cross Blue Shield and Mayo and UCare and Medica and the 10 southern Minnesota counties to provide an immediate crisis center for people in their communities. And we do that together with them. Just in slightly less than a year, as of yesterday, we have served 976 people in the CERC Crisis Center. And it's great, right? That's a great number. And it's great that those people are getting services. That's exactly what we need to continue doing. And it's also horribly sad that 976 people needed those services. But they do, that's the reality, and we're here to do it. And it doesn't even have to be our idea. As long as we get to keep families together, we will do programs that will keep families together. And that's another program that we just recently did. Hennepin County invested in some evidence-based family programs, and it's called a Family Response and Stabilization Program. Their idea, but they gave us the fortunate opportunity to launch the program and to provide this service to families, and it's already busting at the seams, and it's growing and they're expanding. And it's great because it's preventative work to keep those families together. And the programs that we also have been focused on over the last 18 months, they don't even have to be programs that bring in large profits, as long as they keep kids in school and they keep teachers teaching. And that's where we've expanded our school-based programs and our case management in the schools. And we're not done. What we're launching coming up here this year into next is we're partnering with Dakota and Washington counties in the state of Minnesota to open a shelter program. And these are for kids who don't have anywhere else to turn to, who need some immediate services to restabilize their lives and their families' lives so that they know the next step. We're helping meet the state's call to help try to, with the backlog in residential programs where kids are getting stuck because there's nowhere else to turn, we're developing mobile transition programs to help get those kids the community work that they need and the services they need so that they can move on and stabilize in their families. We're really excited about that. And we just broke ground on a family center at our residential facility, Girard, down in Austin, which when residential is really the best place for a child at the time, that this center will allow families to come and work more effectively with their kids. And stakeholders are looking to Nexus, and they keep calling us saying, please help us solve this problem, help us do this. And we want to answer all of those calls. We want to be able to partner to fill all those existing gaps because we need more community services than ever. We need more crisis. We need more services in the school, and we need a solution so people don't get stuck not being able to get into psychiatric hospitals and not getting their needs met. We need to respond to these. We must respond to these needs. We want to respond to the calls that we're getting for help. The problem is that our partners and our stakeholders only have so much money to give to these programs. And it seems like it's not right or it's not fair, but it is the reality. State budgets, county budgets don't always pay for the services that our communities need. And that's where Nexus wants your help to make that difference. We'll use the resources that are there, but it doesn't always pay for these things. We need your help and a call to action to give of your time and your resources to help fill the gap that state and county and insurance funding just simply cannot do. We are positioned to respond, but truly what I'm asking all of you to do is think of the community work that you feel passionate about. We are trying to grow our community work so that we can keep kids in their families, so we can keep people out of psychiatric hospitals, and we need your help to do that. And we have some really good examples of the way that different donors have really responded to this call of action. One example is the United Way of Mower County, where we provide at Nexus Girard school-based services. Well, let me tell you, the schools, they don't have the budget for this. And without that funding from the United Way, we could not provide those services to kids in school. And it's making a huge difference in those kids' ability to learn, stay in school, and keep those families stabilized. Another great example is the Pwc Charitable Foundation. We have the opportunity where they gave us money to get mental health services to those who could not access it. Well, we were able, and we are able, to put therapists in Dakota Woodland Shelter, which is a family shelter. And when families come into the shelter, they don't get mental health services. It's not part of that. Well, their funding is allowing us to put therapists in that shelter to provide the mental health services to these families that they could not get elsewhere or otherwise. And it's a fabulous opportunity to make a ripple effect difference in people's lives. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for learning about us. Thank you for considering where you can invest your time and your money to make a difference in your communities and your family and maybe even in your own personal life. So thank you for being here. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Michelle. And as you can tell, Nexus is under wonderful leadership. Once again, let's hear it for the great job Michelle and her team have done at Nexus. So we're going to have some opportunities where you can help out Nexus, and one of them is the premier auction, which is closing in about 9 minutes, so I suggest you get on your phones. I'm going to get through the items pretty quickly here so you can get a good idea what some of the live auction items are. We decided not to do a live auction so we could do it this way, and the people at home can participate too. Item number 1, 4 premium seats to the soon-to-be Super Bowl champion Minnesota Vikings game against the New England Patriots. I think they I don't know, they might have more Super Bowl trophies than the Vikings, I'm not sure. But these are tickets to cheer on the Vikings from the Delta 360 Sky Club. You actually get to be right down there on the field. When the Vikings walk out of the locker room, you're right there. These are fantastic seats. The game is Thanksgiving night, November 24th at 7:20. A chance to see if we can make Bill Belichick grumpier than he already is. These are fantastic seats, and you're right behind the Vikings bench. You get liquor, and food, beer, wine, and non-alcoholic beverages are included. So if the Vikings are losing, you can belly up to the bar. Private restrooms, VIP parking, that's all part of that package. Premier item, that was donated by Eric and Jeremy Mercer, board members. Thank you, Eric and Jeremy. The second item is a private plane for a day. Yeah, one-of-a-kind package includes a flight for 2 or 3 people in a small plane piloted by Troy Minsky, and Troy hopes to pass his pilot license by then. Actually, Troy's a very experienced pilot. Sorry about that. Troy will pick you up at the airport of your choice, and he will fly you anywhere in Minnesota or a surrounding state. You can go visit your kid in college, you can go for lunch somewhere, or the package also includes a twosome of golf at Voyager Village Golf, an 18-hole championship golf course in Danbury, Wisconsin. So this will be a fantastic, the date agreed upon, donated by Troy and Paula Minsky. Number 3, a Steamboat Springs Getaway. This is a fan favorite. Enjoy the friendly, casual beauty of Steamboat Springs. This is a week-long stay at a fantastic 3-bedroom, 4-bath condo. The available dates are June 17th to June 24th and August 12th through August 10th, 2023. This is donated by Paul and Ann Zimmer. Paul is a Nexus Foundation board chair, and several guests sitting in the Stonebridge table just returned from the trip, and they said it was fantastic. That has a value of $1,500, so please look at that. The next, you bet, thank you. The next premier item is a 1-week stay at a Mountainside condo at Silver Creek Condominiums at Granby, Colorado. This is a Saturday to Saturday stay, 2-bedroom timeshare, a Mountainside resort, and it's in Granby, Colorado, which is just 75 minutes from the Denver airport. You will be on the slopes of Ski Granby Ranch, which is near the southwest entrance of Rocky Mountain National Park. So it's a 2-bedroom condo. It can accommodate up to 7 people. Travel dates based on availability. Thank you to Kraus Anderson for that donation. Also, you probably saw it walking in, a Winnebago family vacation of a lifetime. You can get the big one, the smaller one, or one in between. Just picture yourself going down the highway in the family truckster. By the way, this Winnebago was approved by Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation. And he'll make sure that it runs well for you. The people who rented it last year, who won this, said they had a blast. They drove 2,560 miles between here and Gettysburg. I hope they had the address there to get to Gettysburg. They saw a lot of college pals and beautiful parts of the country. This Winnebago requires that the coach get picked up in Forest City, Iowa. That's about 2.5 hours from here. So that's donated by Winnebago Industries. Thank you very much for that. And last and certainly not least is this beautiful one-of-a-kind graffiti mural. This says hope, and it's made by our youth. It was handmade by youth at Nexus Girard, especially for tonight, the night for Nexus. 6 students, ages 15 to 18, worked on this mural together, each with individual stories, individual backgrounds, individual taste, and artistic styles, but it came together into this beautiful piece of hope. They're all proud of this mural, and we hope that you find it beautiful yourself. So that is donated by the youth at Nexus Girard, and we appreciate that. So get working on those fingers. It's closing in just several minutes. Bid them up. Okay, now I'd like to have the privilege of introducing Jeannie Sheehan. She is a member of the Nexus Foundation of Family Healing Board of Directors. Jeannie.
Thank you, Joe. I am so grateful to be here tonight. I cannot tell you how proud I am to be a volunteer and a supporter, and as Joe said, a board member of the Nexus Foundation for Family Healing. I joined the board, and my husband Jim and I donate and support to Nexus because while it's not me or my family who currently needs services, it could be. It might be. And it could be any one of us in this room who might have needed support in the past, or we're struggling now, or we might need help in the future for ourselves, a friend, or maybe even one of our family members. We just don't know. I believe that we need to come together right now to be sure that Nexus is at the ready to deliver services, critical services, to these people who need them, when they need them, especially now when we can see that the need is so great. Post-pandemic need. It's so great. As Dr. Murray said earlier, we're committed to expanding the availability and access to mental health care to everyone in our communities. It's so important because, as you heard, children, families, and adults alike are hurting, and they need these resources right now. But we have big plans, and you and I have an opportunity to be a part of those big plans. I am excited and have the honor and the privilege to introduce two families who've benefited from the services of Nexus Family Healing. Elisa, whose family participates in the early childhood program at Nexus FACS in Mendota Heights, and Philip, who receives services from one of our newest entities, Southeast Regional Crisis Center, located in Rochester. Both of them have offered to share their stories in this video to help show how critical these services have been for them and their families.
I have 5-year-old twins, and they were in preschool this last year, and we noticed that their social play was a little off. They weren't quite participating in groups and with the other kids as much. They were more solitary. You know, it's crushing to feel like, you know, you can't help but feel like you did something wrong right away. As a parent, you just want the best for your kids, and you don't know what to expect. Everything's so new, even when I've dealt with kids in my classroom, and you know, was lucky enough to get to see a wide variety of what autism looks like. So I knew that it's not just one thing, but still it's hard when you're not sure where your kid's gonna fit in on that. At that point, we didn't have a formal diagnosis, so it was really nice. We came in and Jenny worked with us to get a diagnostic assessment done on our boys. We also then were able to, just after filling out all the paperwork, she was able to give them a provisional diagnosis of autism. And this helped us then get family therapy. And she also went the extra mile and got us a grant for our family. So we received free services.
I say I have one of the best jobs in the world. I get to play with kids. I get to help empower people. And at the end of the day, it can feel tiring, but it's also really rewarding. And I get to see changes every day in the kids and the families that I'm working with. And I'm not only seeing changes in the children, but I also see changes in parents and their confidence in knowing how to support their child and how to answer questions about their child and how to advocate for their children out in the world.
I've never been in therapy before and never had that opportunity to know what it's about. And I just figured it's going to be, I come in, I watch my kids receive services, and then we go home. And I was pleasantly surprised where it was, we come in, I watch my kids, but I interact with my kids. And I also have that opportunity to do hands-on learning while someone's here with them. But then it also transitioned into my kids get the services at the same time. I don't have to come in separately with each of the boys, and I get to receive services to help me unpack everything, and that's been just amazing for our family. It's great to see that they have a bright future ahead of them. They're gaining the skills that they can live a normal life, and that just makes everything for the family easier.
I went through a lot of professional struggles, as I'm sure a lot of people did, especially during the pandemic. But mine ended up culminating in what I've been referring to as professional abuse. And it got to the point where I was telling my, at the time, supervisor, this cannot continue. You guys aren't treating me properly. I can't handle this. And over the next couple of days, I started thinking about how I could make it stop. And so every day on my way home from work, I started looking for where I was going to run my car off the road. I had decided tomorrow's the day, and at that moment, I'm working in the middle of a panic attack, and my wife walks through the front door of the business just to visit me. And I think it was just her presence that kind of put just a tiny crack in the wall, and everything collapsed. My emotional, mental fortitude, and I told her I need to go to CERC.
I think a lot of people are really vulnerable in the sense of being in crisis, and whether that's defined as you're having anxiety or going through depression or going through a divorce or really struggling with a child that's having aggressive behaviors. You know, we meet people exactly where they are. We are the voice to really acknowledge that people are being heard. We are here to provide help and really to just open up the opportunity for individuals to bring forward something that's going on and recognize that we are here to make a difference in their lives.
Once I'd kind of gone through that initial moment, and I'd been able to calm down and breathe my way through this panic attack, this very gentle white glove service started. The mental health professional did my intake with me, learned as much as they could about me, just from it seemed like such a short amount of time, but they were able to get so much information. But I think it's because they made me feel so comfortable. And then once my intake had done, and they were like, yes, we think you should stay, we agree, let's move forward. They walk you to the next person. Every person that you're with during your intake walks you to the next person, which felt great. It's not like this hallway, take a left, take a right. Each person is handing you off, making sure you're okay. By the time I was leaving, after staying a couple of nights and kind of getting into a new routine, I felt so much different. I felt safe for the first time in a long time. I felt like the whole world didn't rest on my shoulders, because they were telling me, like, hey, you don't have to be Superman to survive. Sometimes surviving is enough. And they started kind of pointing me in the direction of where I could learn those skills to survive again. There are so many places and so many companies and so many businesses that are so very clinical that a lot of them have lost sight of how deeply the people that they are helping feel everything that is happening around them. And everyone here has been so sensitive and so careful and so is this okay if I do this? Can I take a moment to ask you some questions? If CERC wasn't here, I probably wouldn't be here to be interviewed. And so I would tell other people, if you need help, even if it's up to and including crisis, these people can help, and help in an incredible way.
How brave of Alyssa and Phil to share their stories. We could not be more grateful that they were willing to go on video and share their stories so that we can better understand some of the needs that people right in our own neighborhood have and how Nexus can help them. So Joe, turning it back to you to lead us in an opportunity to support other people like Elisa and Phil. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeannie. That was outstanding. We have a problem here, don't we? We have a mental health problem. It used to be that nobody would talk about it. Now it's that people do talk about it, and we realize how prevalent it is. So tonight, we're going to have some opportunities to help Nexus restore hope in those families and individuals who battle mental health issues. We saw the brave stories of Elisa and Phil. We've heard all about how Nexus family can connect with all different kinds of communities. Thousands of kids and families need people like you to help make it possible, to restore hope. That's what we're here for tonight. I'm now going to ask for your help, and we need you to come together to help Nexus Family Healing, and there are several ways you can do that. In a minute, we're going to have a giving moment, but first of all, a couple instructions along the way. People at home, if you're still with us, and I'm sure you are because it's been a very entertaining evening and informative, you can hit the donate on your device and donate until you realize that's what you want to do and that's what you're comfortable with. And then add $10. If you are here in the room tonight, be sure to find your program. Make sure your name's on it. You're going to have a number on that program because we're going to call out those numbers when we ask for your donations. So we're going to have a giving moment coming up. And once again, double check. Or if you don't like the person you're sitting next to, grab them and put them up at a real high level. So, our goal tonight in this room, and I think we can do it, it's been 50 years of Nexus. Let's see if we can raise $50,000 in the next few minutes, huh? How about that? We're going to help them celebrate their 50th anniversary. Now, last year, we started the bidding at $5,000, and somebody interrupted me and raised the bid to $10,000, and we didn't know what was going to happen. So, I'm not a fool. I'm going to start this year. Does anybody out there want to help Nexus out to the tune of $10,000? If you do, please raise your paddle. Don't itch your nose right now. It might cost you 10 grand. Now, thank you very much. We had very generous people last year. Our foundation board chair, Eric Mercer, and his wife, Jeannie, are so grateful that their son received great care from Nexus Girard while he was in high school. An experience, they say, that changed their lives. While they couldn't be with us here tonight, they have donated and committed a gift of $5,000 to start us off at the 5,000 levels. Who will join the Mercers in their gift of $5,000? Number 210, thank you very much, sir. Number 104, thank you very much, ma'am, thank you. Number 157, you're going to check my eyes today. Number 157, thank you. That's $15,000 to join the Mercers, $5,000 already. Thank you so much. It's here for our $5,000 donors. Our next level we'll go to is $2,500. Think about how you could help play a role in helping a young person transition to independent living. Do we have anybody who could help us with $2,500? With $2,500. Number 122, thank you very much. Number 158, thank you very much. Outstanding. We appreciate that very much. Let's go to the $1,000 level. Imagine how you could help introduce a youth to equine and horse therapy or help them pilot a new program. Who would help us out by donating $1,000? Number 132, number 123, number 139. Let's hear it for them. Number 171, number 149, number 227, number 212, 220, number 100, number 222, all at $1,000. Number 114, number 184, way in the back, number 103, number 174, number 208, and number is that 175? 175, all right, and way back there. I'm sorry, I think you're standing in Coon Rapids. 250? 253, 253. All right. 263. Where's 253? My eyesight just cost you $1,000. All right. I was never good at math. Thank you. So let's hear for the $1,000 people. Fantastic. Our next level is the $500 level. Who could help us out with $500 as we try to hit the $50,000 level today? $500. Number 215, thank you. Number 113, thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Number 142, number 162, number 173, number 183, number 169, number 106, thank you, Dean. Number 197, thank you all so much for your help at the $500 level. Oh, we got more yet. We got more, okay. Number, don't shake it. I can't read it when you shake it. I got dizzy trying to get it. Number 224, number 147, we're still at the $500 level. We're gonna try number 235. All right. Whew. All right, getting better. Maybe have another glass of wine I can see in the back row. Okay. Do we have anybody else at the $500 level? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now that you've had a little bit more to drink, do we want to start back at the $10,000 level? Okay, guess not. Let's go to the 250 level. Who can help us out at 250? Number 204, number 217, number 134, number 207. Let's keep it going. Number 167. Oh boy. Number 143, number 148, number 201, number 239, number 110? 110? 118, okay. The guys back in Coon Rapids, what do you guys have? Number 182. 102. Yell it out. 101. 225. Guess what? You guys are so good, you're emceeing this next year. Okay. Oh, number 137. Thank you very much. Anybody else at the $250 level? Every little bit helps. And let's finish it off at the $100 level. And this can just help more children. Number 100 level, let's hear it for number 230. Number 125. Number 199. Number 110. 226. Number 119. 213. 188. 124. 178. Number 240. Number 202. Number 140, number 126, some guy in Coon Rapids. 238, all right, number 229, number 159, number 200. Look right, okay, good. And if I happen to say your number and you didn't raise it up and you get a bill, just watch Channel 4 from now on. You'll get over it. You'll forgive me. Now, we understand whatever level you want to give at, you can still do it on your device and hit donate. By the way, we should mention this. In the $100 level, the Nexus leadership team committed to matching the first 10 gifts at that level because they know how important it is to support the family. So the people on the ground believe in the mission, and when that happens, that's when the magic happens. That's when the impact happens. So once again, if you want to make another donation, please do it online. Folks, as you can see at every level, these donations really do make a big difference. We are restoring hope, we are providing hope, and we're providing opportunities for people in our neighborhood that might need us. Do we have a final total? Do we have a total? Of the bids? We reached our goal of $50,000? All right. We reached our, that's $50,000 even counting my 10%? Okay, just checking. Thank you so much. That's been a very generous room. Thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate the committee for putting this together. This banquet got so big we had to move it to a bigger venue. So let's hear for the committee. My beautiful wife Laura's on the committee. Guys, those are called brownie points. You put that in the bank. Also like to thank all the sponsors once again, especially our big name sponsors and all the premier gold and silver sponsors. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And how about Chief Hodges? I'll tell you. You can be my chief. You can be my chief anytime. And then thanks to Elisa and Phil for sharing their stories. So you heard all about the vision of Nexus. We hope you all come back next year to hear some of the success stories that we have because of nights like this. For those of you tuning in from home, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us. If you miss me, I'll be on the news Sunday night on Channel 5. So, and according to the ratings, you might be the only ones watching. All right. Well, the party's not over. Stick around, enjoy your friends, have a glass of wine, and there's going to be some music in the background. The check-in is going to be opening in just a few minutes, so you can go check out the auction there. And remember, don't forget the cards at your table that the youth made for you. And send those out. It'd be a good chance to tell people a little bit about Nexus and how important they are. Thank you all so much for restoring hope and helping your community.